Welcome students again into the 12th science chemistry class. We are learning the chapter number first, that is the solid states, and into that today we have to learn the electrical properties of the solids. Now we know that solids according to the electrical properties are characterized into the three categories, that are conductors, semiconductors and insulators. Then how these conductors, that is the solids which are conductors, and the solids which are insulators, and the solids which are semiconductors, how it determines according to its electrical conductivity, let us learn. Now solids show very wide range of electrical conductivity, that is the 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to 4. Very wide range of electrical conductivity these solid shows. So solid show very wide range of electrical conductivity, and accordingly these wide range of electrical conductivity, solids are classified into three categories: conductors, insulators and semiconductors. These are the three categories of the solids according to the electrical conductivity, that is the wide range of electrical conductivity. Now let us learn for the conductors. Now conductors are two types, that is the metals which conduct the electrical conductivity or electrical energy by the movement of electrons or flow of electrons, and the other, that is the electrolytes or ionic solids which conduct the electricity by the flow of ions. But in this chapter we have to learn about the electronic conductor, that is the metals. So what is the range of electrical conductivity in the conductors? Let us see here. Solids having electrical conductivity in the range of 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7 per ohm per meter. This is the electrical conductivity range of the conductors, that is 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7 per ohm per meter are called conductors. The solids having the electrical conductivity in the range of 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7 per ohm per meter is called conductor or called conductors. Now metals and electrolytes, that is the ionic solids, are the example of the electrical conductors. Metals conduct electricity by movement of electrons, while electrolytes conduct electricity by movement of ions. In this chapter we will study some aspects of electronic conductor of electricity, that is the metals. Now this is the main range of electrical conductivity of the conductor, that is the 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7 per ohm per meter. Now second, that is the insulators, that is non-conductors. Now these insulators, the solids having low electrical conductivities, very low electrical conductivity in the range of 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10. Now this is very that is low range of electrical conductivity, that is 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter. So the solids having the low electrical conductivities in the range of 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter are called insulators. Most of the non-metals and molecular solids belong to this category. Now which are the insulators or which are the non-conductor? That is the molecular solids and that of the non-metals. Now non-metals, you know that is the such as phosphorus, sulfur, iodine and all the gases, these are the non-metals. So non-metals and molecular solids, that is the iodine, phosphorus, sulfur, these are the molecular solids. All these are the insulators and they have the electrical conductivity range in between 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter. Now next, that is the third one, is the semiconductors. Now semiconductors also conduct electrical conductivity, but in a very it conduct the electricity very slowly. Now solids having electrical conductivity is in the range of 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter. Now this is the range of electrical conductivity of the semiconductor, that is 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter, are called as the semiconductors. This range is intermediate between the conductors and insulators. Now see here, this is the range of that of the conductor, 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 7 per ohm per meter, and this is the range of that of the insulators, 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter. But the range of the semiconductor is in between these two, that is 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter. And the solids having the electrical conductivity in the range of 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter are called as the semiconductors. Now this range is intermediate between the conductors and insulators, we are seeing that. So the metalloids like silicon, germanium belongs to this category. Now the metalloids, that is the silicon, germanium, these are the metalloids which belongs to the category, that is the semiconductors. Now let us learn the band theory. In that band theory explains us why some solids acts as the conductors and insulators and semiconductors. Why this? Now that is the region is given into the band theory. So let us learn the band theory now. Now again pay attention students on the blackboard. Now this band theory determines that the some solids are metals, that is they conduct the electricity, some solids are non-metals, and some solids are metalloids. Now electrical conductivities of solids such as metals, non-metals and metalloids are explained in terms of band theory. Now what is band? A band is made up of closely spaced electronic energy levels of atoms present into that solids. So a band is made up of closely spaced electronic energy levels. We know that the atoms have the energy levels. The main energy levels such as that is K, L, M, N. Now these are the main energy levels, and there are the sub energy levels also, that is the atomic sub energy levels are SPDF such. So a band is made up of closely spaced electronic energy levels in which electrons are present. So a band formation can be correlated to the formation of molecular orbitals. Now in 11th science we learn about the formation of molecular orbital, that is the MOS, MOS molecular orbitals. How the molecular orbitals are formed from the atomic orbitals, we learn that into the molecular theory of that is the molecular theory. Into that we learn how many atomic levels are taking part in the formation of molecular orbitals. Now same number of molecular orbitals are formed from the atomic orbitals, we know that. And the molecular orbitals are such as sigma, sigma star, pi, pi star, we know about that into the 11th standard. So a band is made up of closely spaced electronic energy levels. Band formation can be correlated to the formation of the molecular orbitals. Now the interaction, the molecular orbitals are formed by the interaction of atomic orbitals, we know that. The molecular orbitals are formed by the interaction of atomic orbitals. Now, when molecule is formed from the atoms, there is interaction between the atomic orbitals and they form the molecular orbitals. Interaction of atomic orbitals of combining atom results in the formation of equal number of molecular orbitals. We know that the interaction of the combining atomic orbitals results in the formation of same number of molecular orbitals. And these molecular orbitals spread over the entire molecule. The molecular orbitals which are formed such as sigma, sigma star, pi, pi star from the atomic orbital such as sp,d,f. Now they spread over the entire molecule. In the similar way, there are so many atoms are there into the solids and they also form the molecules from the constituents atom. So many atomic orbitals combine to form the molecular orbitals. The molecular orbitals are closely spaced into the crystal lattice or into the solid, and these maximum number of molecular orbitals formed and which spread over the entire solid is called as the band. So see here, similar to this interaction of energy levels of electrons in the closely spaced constituents atoms in the solid results in the formation of bands. So bands are nothing but they are closely spaced molecular orbitals in the solid. So band theory consider here formation of two types of bands. There are the formation of two types of bands are there, that is the conduction band and valence band. Now the another most important concept of band theory is the band gap or forbidden zone. It is also called as the forbidden zone. So we have to learn now what is conduction band, what is valence band and what is the band gap. Now let us learn first the conduction band. Now the highest energy band. The highest energy band means outermost energy levels. That is the highest energy band containing electrons is called as the conduction band. The highest energy level band containing electrons is called as the conduction band. What is conduction band? The highest energy band containing electrons is called as the conduction band. Due to that mobile electron, this conduction band, into that conduction band there is the conduction of electricity. Now this band is formed by interaction of the outermost energy levels. Now the outermost energy level, which are the highest energy level, due to the interaction of the outermost energy levels of the atoms, there is formation of the molecular orbitals, and that so many molecular orbitals form the band, that is the conduction band. So conduction band is formed by interaction of the outermost energy levels of closely spaced atoms. The atoms which are closely spaced, they form the, that is the conduction band. Which are the conduction band is nothing but the interaction of the outermost energy level of closely spaced atoms in the solids. So conduction band may be partially filled or occupied by the electron, or it may be vacant because it is the outermost energy level band. So it may be sometimes vacant or it may be partially occupied by the electrons. And due to that partially occupied electrons can be mobile and move from one, that is the one place to another place. So this conduction band may be partially occupied or vacant, partially occupied by electrons or vacant. Electrons in the conduction band are mobile and delocalized. That means they can be moved from one place to another place. So the electrons in the conduction band are mobile and delocalized in the entire solid. They conduct electricity when electrical potential is applied. So when electrical potential is applied, the conduction band can be conduct the electricity. Remember that, due to that of the mobile or delocalized electron. Now let us learn about the valence band and what is the band gap. Again pay attention students on a blackboard. Now in the band theory, we are learning the conduction band and valence band. Now what is valence band? That is the second band. The band having lower energy than the conduction band is called as the valence band. Now lower energy means these are the inner orbitals which are nearer to the nuclei, and these energy levels are very tightly bound to the nuclei because they are closer to nuclei. The conduction band is formed from the outermost orbitals of the constituent atoms which are taking part into the formation of molecular orbital. But valence band is formed due to the interaction of the inner orbital which are nearer to nuclei having the lower energy. So, band having lower energy than the conduction band is called valence band. Now, in valence band there are so many electrons. These energy levels of valence bands are not partially occupied by electron or vacant, but they are containing so many electrons into that. So the electrons in the valence band are not free to move because they are tightly bound to the nuclei. The electrons into the valence band are not free to move, or they are not mobile. They are not delocalized electrons. They cannot be moved freely because these valence band orbitals are tightly bound to the nuclei of the constituent atoms. Now, but if we apply some thermal or electrical energy to this valence band, then some of the electrons from the valence band can be delocalized into the conduction band. Remember that. Now, what is the band gap? The energy difference between the valence band and conduction band. Now, conduction band is the outermost band, valence band is the lower energy band. But if there is some energy difference between the conduction band and valence band, then that energy difference is called as the band gap. The energy difference between the valence band and conduction band is called as the band gap. Now, size of the band gap decides whether the electrons from the valence band can be promoted into the conduction band or not. Now, remember that the size of the band gap decides whether the electron from the valence band can be promoted to the vacant conduction band or not. That means, if the size of the band gap is too large, that is, there is the large energy difference between the conduction band and the valence band, then what happens? The electrons cannot be promoted from the valence band into the conduction band. But if the band gap size is small, then electrons can be easily promoted from valence band to the conduction band. So, the size of the conduction band decides whether the electron from the valence band can be promoted to the conduction band or not. When the band gap is too large, that is very large, to promote electrons from valence band to conduction band by thermal energy, then it is called as the forbidden zone. What is forbidden zone? Forbidden zone means large band gap, large sized band gap. If or when band gap is too large to promote electrons from valence band to conduction band by thermal energy, it is called as the forbidden zone. That means, if the band gap is very large and electrons cannot be promoted from valence band to the conduction band, then such large band gap is called as the forbidden zone. But when band gap is small, electrons from valence band can be promoted into the conduction band by absorption of thermal or electromagnetic energy. If there is small band gap, then electrons from the valence band can be promoted to the conduction band by absorption of thermal or electromagnetic energy. Now this is about student about the that is conduction band, valence band and forbidden zone, that is also called as the band gap. Now if you understand all this, what is conductors, semiconductors and that is the insulators, and again what is the conduction band, valence band and band gap, then you can like, share and subscribe this video, and also you can tell the another students of the 12th science to like, subscribe and share this video, and you can share this link to the students which still are not joining to our these videos, that is YouTube video. So thank you for watching this video and subscribe this video. Thank you very much students.